Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and once again it's time for another episode of Dadbod to Daddy training. Today was back in biceps day. So what I went with today, because again, I feel like for me, arms are going to be a bigger priority than my back, because my lat development's definitely on point. So again, more muscles need to come up. My lower body, my back, everything is good. So I decided I'm going to do chins and underhand grip rows for a little while to make sure the biceps are getting tons of work. Again, they are a higher priority right now. Again, look at the size of my lats. So I went ahead and did chins with a 55. I squeezed out 6. I think I only got 5 on the second set. Maybe I didn't rest long enough, but I managed to get 6 reps. The trick on these is to get the full extension at the bottom. Notice that my scapula come apart. Again, sometimes people always comment on my range of motion of any sort of overhead lockout, and again, you saw me go into a dead hang, so you notice my overhead press looks pretty similar to that. Is what it is. It's just where my mobility is. And again, that is after years of trying to fix it and work on it. So it just is what it is. But I'm not worried about it, because here's the thing. We're getting the deep stretch. We're getting the scapula pulling apart. All my back work looks like that, and I have a great back. So again, I think people over-obsess over the contracted position movement. Sometimes they really do. Data doesn't really support that they do that much. They probably do help a little, but everything's going to be based on your personal range of motion, and that's what people have to remember. Your range of motion is not someone else's. I mean, you see other people, there are YouTubers that have hypermobile elbows and things, and I see some of the guys, and they can totally extend their elbows the other direction. It's like the total reverse of mine. But it's just funny. That's how human bodies are, right? That's how our structures and things work. So for the underhand grip rows, I felt like the 185 was a little light. I got 12 reps. So I went up to 225. I can only get 5s with these. Again, this type of row is, for me, more difficult than a pin leg. People are like, we've seen you do crazy weight on pin legs. Yeah, but it feels like you can almost cheat with that explosion off the floor. For me, a pin leg row is actually much easier. That's why you guys have seen me do like 12 reps with 250 pounds on them. With these, again, it challenges the grip and everything hard. And, I don't want to strap up for this stuff. I don't ever want to compromise my grip. But I didn't feel like grip was totally limiting these. Yes, grip was a factor here. This is hard to grip in the underhand position. Very, very difficult. But it did feel like my lats failed. Right? Felt like my lats failed. They just couldn't handle more, especially doing them pretty strict like this. Strict being, quite a relative thing, of course. So again, my back was lit up from that. So for those curious, yeah, absolutely. I feel back more on the chin-ups and the underhand grip rows than I do biceps. Even though they obviously work biceps. All right, because that went well, and I'm like, let's work a little heavier today in general. Let's see if we can get strict curls with the 95. Because I've been working these up. I started with the really strict curls like this with 65 pounds. Built it up to 75, got to where I could do 10 plus. I'm like, let's just go to the 95, do them as strict as possible, and I managed to get 6 reps each time. I'm fine with that because we get a little more volume later into the workout. And since most of my other stuff was about 5 to 6 other than that 12 rep set, I'm perfectly fine with that. Again, as long as it's extremely strict. But notice even the first rep. The first rep is extremely difficult when I'm using a weight that I can only handle for 6. But that's okay. It gives a different feeling in the biceps. I really felt, instead of like a pump, more just like my biceps being pulled apart on the eccentrics. It almost felt like the muscle is contracts completely different. But I'm not as concerned at the moment, I guess, some of this with getting a super good pump. But I still got one, right? We got a good pump on it. And then, of course, we go into higher reps the longer we get into the workout. So again, just kind of keeping with that theme of let's go a little bit heavy on most of my stuff for now. Obviously, I'm still doing 10 and 12 rep sets on some exercises. Some stuff will hit 20, whatever. And even my other curls later in this got higher rep. All right, so with these though, it felt good. I just wanted to go a little heavier. I feel like if my biceps can continue to get stronger, get more mechanical tension on them, they're going to continue to develop as long as they're taking the work. Because we already did the big compounds first, right? So those were used a lot of bicep. But then I want all this to be stricter, so heavy strict curl, and then of course we go over to the preacher curl, which the way I perform these is about as strict as you can possibly do, right? And these are kind of pure. I managed to get 9 reps with this weight. I think I've only done that like on one set previously, and then went down to like 8 or 7. But I think I managed to get 9 on all 3 sets here, and that is failure because the 9th rep you see me grinding with it, and then it comes down and it's not coming back up, right? It's not coming back up after 9 for me. So what I tend to do when I know that rep really, really strains and I'm not going to get another rep, I try to slow the eccentric down also, so that again, these sets are hitting all the available muscle fibers, right? Everything is fatigued because we're pretty much hitting failure, and then we're doing a slow eccentric at the end, again, working everything. But I think we can tell here at this angle, the only reason my arms don't look, really big is because my back and everything. So when I'm down here and you don't see my lats all spread out and me pushing everything out, it looks totally different. Then people are like, oh, you got actually pretty big arms. It's just about proportion. But it's like even for me too, a lot of it's bone structure. We all have our own bone structures. Like I'm realizing, I've been noticing in footage lately as I've gotten leaner, I really do need more chest. But my chest looks so big from the side because of my rib cage. I have big lats that pull my shoulders back. Hey, my lats are big, all that's big, and it pulls me into scapular retraction. And I have a big rib cage, so it makes my pecs look bigger than they are from like side views. But when you see that front view, we can tell I really do need to add more meat to them. So again, my bench would probably go up more if I did that. So yeah, I almost feel like at this point, the arms are going to continue to keep coming on. I feel like really though, I do need more side delt, more pec, everything, even though I'm trying to get leaner and losing body fat is the higher priority. I am trying to recomposition, trying to recomp my way down leaner. Also, I've adjusting my diet to try to be fuller and to get better workouts. So that's probably one reason some of this stuff's going good. I've started adding more sodium back in. I follow a really low sodium diet most of the time because I have Meniere's disease and stuff. But the longer I do it, I realize really just stress and using things like Benadryl help with my Meniere's more than controlling sodium intake. Since my potassium's really high also, and I'm getting leaner, more conditioned. I don't feel like blood pressure or anything that's an issue. So I almost feel like just the extra salt may be a good thing. So I'm getting that mainly just from soy sauce and my brown rice and my rice. Because again, I'm kind of doing a chicken, broccoli, brown rice type bro diet. Now I'm adding other lean protein in, a lot of dairy protein. I'm doing beans, sweet potatoes, fruit, things like that also, oats. But the idea is the same. Heavy on whole grains, fruits, vegetables, lean proteins. Okay. Again, I feel my best when I train, when I do that. I feel like I gain muscle easiest. I don't always necessarily look as lean as with the slightly lower carbs because that pulls that extra water out. But if I just get leaner, it won't matter. Just keep losing body fat. And I almost feel like it's easier to do that when the carbs and everything are higher and I'm holding a little bit of extra intermuscular water. We just burn through more calories. Brings metabolic rate up more. So then I finish up with one set of hanging leg raises. I managed to get 12 of these this time. Normally I get about 9 to 10. So these are getting better. I get improving at them. So I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys and gals next time.